Welcome to 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond, because it's not nutty enough here in Southwest Florida. Sometimes we go outside the area for our stories. And today, Tim is not here. He's off doing important stuff, so I can't keep playing this music over him. It's actually just going to keep playing over me. Diana's in the studio with me. Diana, do we have a Diana cam? No, Diana, can you turn this music off? And we do in the studio. We don't have Diana because she's acting like the Diana cam doesn't work. We're working with her. And Tim is off doing some school resource officer training, which is super important. You guys, all of this crazy stuff happening in the world. And we all say we should really do more about it. And Tim is actually doing more about it. He's out there providing that training and keeping our kids safe in the schools. So, Tim, thank you so much. And thank you for letting us use this studio because today we have a very special guest host and it's her birthday. So welcome, my friend, Sue Pinky Benson.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Closer to the mic, Pinky.
Closer to the mic. I have to be more professional.
I made dirty jokes about it earlier, so now she's reluctant to be too close to it. But it's your birthday.
It is my birthday, and I brought my crown, but it doesn't go with the headphones.
Yeah, it doesn't go over the headphones.
Yeah, it's
sorry. We can't be beautiful and technologically appropriate all at the same time. So, how has your day been going?
Well, really good. We got back after being gone for like 2 weeks. So,
where were you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we were in Chattanooga, we were in Cleveland, we were in Charlotte. So pretty much anywhere with the sea kind of feel. We went all over the place, and then Orlando. So just got home last night. I was so happy to see my bed. It was like the best thing ever.
It's also the first poop that you take back in your own toilet. Is it not the most comfortable, relaxing, refreshing poop ever?
I think that's a Mr. Benson question.
Oh, is that more of a guy thing?
It is.
I mean, I'm with you on the sheets too. I have a good mattress and good sheets. That's a priority to me. So even when I go and I stay in a nice hotel, I'm always excited to get back home.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I've never been so happy to meditate. I was I haven't been able to meditate in 2 weeks because I've constantly had people around me. So it's nice to be home.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. And so what kind of celebration stuff are you going to do today?
Well, I went to the very exciting store today and got some grocery shopping done. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, and then we're going to have a little cookout tonight, which you're going to be part of.
Oh, great.
I know. So nothing too exciting, I have to say. I've got big plans for next year, but.
So you got to rest up.
I do. But, I'm kind of a person that does more of the New Year's Eve. You know how everybody has those big resolutions for New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
I do that on my birthday.
Me too. See? I always say that because for me, that is the mark of a new year, right? So I do all of that self-reflection and really what did I do last year?
Right. Where am I now?
Yeah. Did I totally screw off? Did I stick to any of my morals and principles? What did I do?
Right.
Usually I can remember it though. So that's good. The last year's been a little iffy. I was good for COVID. And then I don't know, the last year has just been a blur.
Yeah. Well, I think the last couple of years, with the pandemic and all that, it just got a little wonky. So
I want to go back
to the pandemic. Yeah, I want to go back.
Not anybody being sick, but I would love to go back to being on lockdown.
Lockdown.
Yeah, not businesses. Not a mandatory, but a voluntary. If everybody liked it better, you could do that now again. I would like that.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I think it was a very quiet time. When we did the lockdown and everybody was unsure of what was going on. And Mr. Benson and I were doing our little wine on Wednesdays and we were doing a little Facebook Live. And actually, we've had a lot of people are like, oh, you should bring that show back. I'm like, really?
Wine on Wednesday. Everybody loves wine. I'm out here pushing the plant. You would think I'm the devil. Everybody's like, get out of here, pot lady, as their wine is swishing over their glass.
And I don't even drink wine. So what do I know? Yeah.
Well, Tim drinks.
Oh.
I'm not disclosing his secrets here on the show. Tim drinks. We should talk to Tim about it.
Yes.
No, he he likes a little alcohol, and being in law enforcement, he and I always argue about the cannabis thing. So I think I win every argument. And
I would say so. I've heard some of the arguments.
Oh, well,
and you're pretty strong. So,
but I did also tell him that when I was talking about cannabis actually reinforcing the brain, protecting it, and building new neural pathways instead of killing brain cells, that your children thought that was bullshit, that they heard that in the car and they were like, yeah, no, nice cell, but no.
Yeah.
So he likes
Josh
that
too. Josh
Yeah.
thought it was pretty.
Yeah,
like-
I was like, I heard that the kids were listening and I was like getting ready for the praise, and then they were like, nope.
didn't and my kids are
It's
older,
all right.
so
Hey, more for me.
more for you.
More for me.
But I tried that. I did try to grow some new pathways as
Yeah?
suggested, but as I told you, I had the biggest panic attack.
Yeah.
So, it's not my thing.
THC is probably not for you. And that's the thing is, the plant is so much more than THC. We could just get into the whole thing, but we won't, because I always take it back to cannabis and that bores people. So we have these wonderful, hard-hitting stories. I don't know where we're going to open it up today. Diana, can we start with the walrus? She has a name. This is okay. So Joe is not a fan of my media because he feels like he listens to me enough at home. And so why on earth would he ever seek that out? He does not want to seek out more of me talking, but he is like trying to be supportive in his way. And so he sent me this story. So he's trying to like participate in the show. So this is a walrus in Norway, and apparently she weighs about 1,500 pounds, and her name is Freya. Maybe Freya, and she likes to take a nap on people's boats. And so she will just put her fat ass up on their boat. And then sometimes the boat goes under and she's like, got to get a new boat, new nap spot. So she's like this big blubbery cat in the water.
So is she like going on like personal boats or like big, but like how does she determine?
Well, I don't think she can sink like a cruise line,
right?
Like Norwegian
Like, but how
cruise
would
line.
she even get up there? Like
maybe some of it's muscle. I don't know. We don't have video. I'll work on that.
Maybe they're like docked and then she gets on it while they're docked.
Yeah. I mean, like not just out in the wild, like how she jumps up on it like she's a flying walrus, like those flying fish, but it's a walrus. I don't think they have that much muscle. Are you sure you're not on THC right now?
You never know.
Because you're normally the straight one, and now you're talking weird shit like flying walruses. I don't know.
It's my birthday.
But do you think blow out whatever candles you want, sweetie? Do you think the insurance would cover that? Like that doesn't even sound like a real thing. Like what happened to your boat? A walrus sunk it. Walrus took a nap on it.
Taking a nap. Like, and do you try to get it off? Like, are you
the walrus?
Like, Freya. Like, do you like here, Freya? Let's go.
Well, I don't know that she would have those tusk things because she's female, right?
Right.
But
so
they
is
do
that
have
a man
teeth.
thing.
Yeah.
The male thing is the tusks.
Yeah, it's like their balls up on their face.
Oh, that's attractive.
Well, you don't have to flip them over and see. They're heavy. It's 1,500 pounds. How are you going to look? Unless they're trained, like some of them at SeaWorld are trained. Don't support SeaWorld though. Y'all, that's terrible. Watch Blackfish and you'll feel terrible for taking your kids there. So that's our story about the walrus. Wasn't that exciting?
It was.
We're bringing this to the world.
We need people over. Like if we're watching this on TikTok, if you have video of Freya, we want to see it. Tag us. Let's see it.
I would love to see Freya sink a boat.
I would too.
Do we have a webcam on that pier? And if not, why not? Like if they know that's happening in the town. Why wasn't that like the second day? Let's get a webcam up.
Right.
So more close to home, we have some shady shit going on. And one of these things was in my old neighborhood. You're in real estate, and so you know the area fairly well. Autumn Woods.
Yes, very nice community.
Right here. I mean, it ain't that nice, but like compared to Grandview, Missouri, where it came from, super nice. Compared to Naples, Florida, and the other places I've lived, it's all right. Like it's a
nice community.
It was in the school district. Yeah. There are okay houses, but I didn't.
You're in the middle of town.
Didn't have a waterfall in my front yard. I'm just saying.
Oh, for the love.
I mean, I lived in nicer places, but so. Autumn Woods, apparently there's some drug dealing going on in there. They had a huge drug bust, and fentanyl. They got 28 grams, 5 counts of fentanyl trafficking, 28 grams or more. 4 counts of cocaine trafficking, 28 grams. 1 count of trafficking cocaine, 200 grams. So this all breaks down to a lot of drugs. And a lot of serious drugs. I've talked before about drugs just being totally decriminalized or legalized and treating the addiction and not criminalizing people, treating them like patients. But people that push drugs on the street like this that kill people, what do you think should happen to the drug dealers?
They need to go to jail.
I mean, do they does that deter them though? Because we have laws already. And so people say we need stricter laws. And I don't think that being, mandatory minimum laws have not worked out for us. Nonviolent offenders, the war on drugs has not worked out for us.
So what do you suggest then?
I still think, and it sounds crazy in, the face of charges like this, when you see this guy in our own community and, with these dangerous drugs, but if it was not decriminalized, probably, I guess, legalized, so that, you could keep track of it. People are going to get high. People are going to alter. They're going to stop their pain. They're going to distract themselves. They're going to do whatever. Animals do it, right? Like elephants eat the berries when one of their loved ones dies so that they can alter themselves. They do. Like, you didn't know that?
I had no idea about elephant and the berries.
It's either berries or a leaf, but elephants, a lot of animals have learned how to safely alter themselves and do so in times of grief or sometimes just reflection. We have a lot of therapists now that are pushing MDMA and, maybe not great for the club. I understand that. But when you're talking about, drugs in the brain, why is Paxil better and safer than MDMA? And do people have better results? I mean, they're taking Paxil for 6-7 years, maybe even longer. MDMA, you're talking about concentrated sessions in a therapist's office. So I think that having really strict drug laws in this war on drug has held us back from some therapeutic uses. And, it again sounds nuts to say, let's just make everything legal. But the data has shown us in other countries that have done that crime does go down. Addiction does go down.
Okay, I will believe you because I have no other stats to go off.
But you have kids. And so, like, as a mom and somebody that's selling this community, do you think that would be an easy sell of like, oh, hey, we've decriminalized cocaine here?
Oh, yeah, that's going to go over really well.
Move on. Like, it doesn't sound family friendly, right?
No.
But like I said, like the data shows that it is actually long-term family friendly. But proposing something like that politically, I don't think is ever going to fly.
No, I don't think so. And, I'm actually impressed that you actually found a news story in Naples with a name of somebody who actually did something, because most of the time you get
I know you think report, the press. Yeah.
And I say this with love because, my background's in broadcast journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the news. I was in Fort Myers and Tampa. So I say it with love, but most of the time we never get to know who's doing bad things in Naples. Like, we just kind of sweep it under the rug. Like, oh, there was something bad happened. There was a guy, he got hit by a car. There was a shooting. We can't say anymore. People are alive. People are dead. Thanks for watching.
Now, do you use the CCSO to go app and look at the arrest every morning?
No, I don't need to do that.
I do.
That's how you get all the good stuff.
That's part of how I wake up. I know what neighbor's been arrested. I know who's fighting. I know who likes to drive around drunk. Yes. And it's not that I don't you
think Naples has or Collier County has a very big crackdown on the information in which they circulate and gets out there? Like, to me, it's very hush hush. Like, you just don't see a lot of things. You don't hear what people are doing. They don't put it in the actual news other than you telling us.
Well, yeah. And then Tim has a big mouth. I mean, he knows what's going on behind the scenes, and he likes to share that too. No, I think we don't have any local news anymore. Our local newspaper was bought and then bought again. And I think that has been part of it. There's been a disconnect between the citizens here I know that I used to report news stories, we used to actually know the publisher and the reporters. And so it wasn't just submitting, hey, I have this grand opening this day, or we're doing this charity thing, but actual news going on or things to investigate or whatever. So I think that has contributed to some of it. I know that for a long time, people have accused our media and our law enforcement of kind of keeping things hush hush because we're a tourist town, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want people to know that someone's getting raped in an alley on Fifth Avenue. It doesn't make you want to make dinner reservations. But we do certainly, we have crime like everyone else, but we also do have a very low crime rate compared to even the rest of the state. So
for sure. It's a very interesting to me.
Yeah.
From
but like you said, you see it from the
journalism
broadcaster.
side.
Yeah.
Like I look at it from that side and I'm like, how
So
is
how do
this
we-
news? Like
How do we remedy that?
well, the news has to do it. Or I think that there's probably some withholding of information.
From
And what is it that you called it?
from
The
the
Marcy Law? Is that what it's called? The Marcy Law?
Oh, when it's a victim?
The
Marcy's
victim
Law?
thing. Yeah. And I think that victim thing, because it's interesting to me because it's a Florida law, is my
Mhm.
understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I still go to Tampa, I go to Orlando, and I don't see anybody yelling Marcy's Law there. So I think it's interesting that it's so prevalent here and what gets classified of what is a victim and who's the victim in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an interesting, like, I would love to see a psychological analysis of this town and how it's run. Cause it's really interesting when you step back and look at it and you're like, how does that work exactly?
So, well, and when you come in from another place, like I'm from Kansas City, and so I think it's easier for us to see that than people that have been here the whole time.
For
right?
sure.
Like,
For sure.
I mean, what do you guys think? If you live here, do you think that we see all of the news? Do we see all the media? Do you think it's being covered up? Do you think we have lazy journalists? Do you think that we should prod Tim for more information? Certainly, he needs. I mean, he probably knows a lot more than what he's spilling.
Right, exactly. It's an interesting situation. I've said it for years. I just remember when Hurricane Irma went through,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing all the Facebook Lives, and I was going around town, and I was showcasing all the different communities, and the news came in, and of course, where did they go? But to the manufactured home parks, right?
Mhm.
Which of course that's where a lot of the damage is, and it's visually pleasing to the news because you have all this, and then you have the president come through, and that's what he's looking at, but for the rest of us, like, there's so many other communities in this area.
Mhm.
So when I was doing all those videos, I had so many people reach out to me because I was telling them, okay, this gas station's open. This gas station has water. There's electricity here. Here's what you do. And I had so many people reach out to me and say, oh, you were better than the news. And it was interesting because then I started seeing that the news was taking my stories I was doing in the morning, and they were actually doing stories on the news with it. So, it's interesting because like you said, I don't think we have a hardcore presence of news people here.
No, this is where
And-
they start.
Oh, it's
This is where they start,
It's usually
or-
the second or third stop.
Like I've
depending.
had friends that they were working their way up the market, and now they're in Indianapolis or somewhere that's bigger and supports them and pays them more. So we have people that have stayed and want to raise their families here, but
Mhm.
they are beginning. And it's been my experience that if I want something printed, I have to write it. And so I have seen a lot of our reporters, and that is TV and print reporting, that I don't know if they're busy or lazy or just like my writing more or whatever, but the more you do it, the more you see it out there. So bringing up those stories and showing them basically what they
need
should
to do.
well, that's how it works.
Well, I mean, it's just, like I said, I was in Tampa, which is a size 13 market. So it's a very large market. So,
Mhm.
having gone through the process already and been through hurricanes up there,
Yeah.
I knew what to cover, and so, like you said, down here, it's maybe their first or their second stop, and they're still learning. But
Yeah.
Naples is also not their primary market. Fort Myers is their primary. And then Naples is going to be their secondary. Bonita, those are like,
and they can't afford to
out-branches.
live here. I mean, they're living up in Fort Myers, right?
Right,
I
right.
can't afford to live here. And I'm 30 years older than they are. So also you said something really interesting that I've been thinking about of, who is the victim? And media really does shape who we think the victim is, and it always has. And not just media, but public opinion. We talk a lot about like the Salem witch trials and burning witches, but
We talk a lot about that.
I do.
Oh, okay. I haven't had a
I
good
have a few
conversation about the
personalities.
Salem witch
I have
trials
a
in
few
years.
So, but really, I was rereading The Crucible actually, and I was thinking about the Salem witch trials and how it is framed to us in a way of like, these bitches were acting crazy, so of course they had to burn them alive, right? Like when women act up, we burn them. And I would just like to see some teachers say, yeah, what happened to those men that were burning all those women? Like what what do we do to people that are different? What do we do to people
Well,
that
and what
don't
was different
conform?
about them? What was different? These were women that were maybe, coming up with the beginnings of aspirin by, going in and getting plants and creating
Well,
them.
in
And then that was
Salem,
like, oh, that's
they were high as
bad.
hell. In Salem, they had like the rye.
stuff.
Well, they were hallucinating. They had infected food. Their food source had been compromised, and so it was like a fungus or something that was on the grain that was used in their bread. And so they knew this years later. They were like, oh, yeah, okay. They were all like in their head. But that has always been the case for women. Women do not have religious positions of leadership in organized religion. And anytime we've said, hey, this makes your foot feel better when you stub it out, or when you stub your toe, or this is going to cure that leprosy that is making the women not love you, right? Better burn that bitch. She's talking crazy over here.
You know what? I'm going to take this and go in a completely bizarre direction.
Please
with it.
do.
Okay, so Scarlet Witch. Do you know who Scarlet Witch is? Are you a Marvel fan at all?
No.
All right, so if Riley's listening, my daughter, she's probably going to freak out that I start talking about Marvel, but it's like a passion of ours in the family. Scarlet Witch was in Doctor Strange, this latest movie that came out.
Okay.
And I'm bringing this up from a feminist standpoint. Okay, so they bring in this woman, this Scarlet Witch, who's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful superhero / villain potential in the Marvel universe. Okay. Now, what do they do to her in this movie? And I'm sorry if you haven't seen the movie, but I'm going to give it away here a little bit. Is that she's grieving for the loss of her sons and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In essence, if we boil it all down, whether they're real or they're not real, she's grieving for this family that she has lost. So what ends up happening? She goes crazy and tries to kill everybody. Right? Like that to me is like, I'm sympathetic as a mother and someone who's lost a child. I understand where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are like bringing in this woman into a powerful position as one of the most powerful people within the Marvel universe. And, oh, okay, she's crazy.
Bitch is crazy.
Bitch is crazy. Like, seriously? Like, we can't just have a powerful woman that doesn't need a man to come and fix her problems?
But you know what the problem is, and I say this all the time, women don't support women. So we can sit around and complain about men being the problem, but you and I both know it's not. It's women. It's the women wanting to compete with other women. Because I tell you, every man is being nice to me. They don't want to blow their chance of, having sex with me at some point. They're like, that is how men think. They're just, they'll be respectful, but they also think they might be able to stick it in at some point, and so they're going to be nice. Women are like, is this bitch going to take anything that's mine? Like, right? Like my money, my man, my attention. Is she going to take something that is mine? And how much do I need to neutralize that threat?
Isn't that crazy? It's bizarre to me
because I'm a much better friend than I am an enemy.
This is true. Well, yeah, I mean, like when I have pink hair, the difference between how I'm treated between a man and a woman, like, the minute I have pink hair, they think that I'm an idiot and that,
easy.
I'm easy and I'm a
she
fun
loves
time.
Sex. That's what pink hair means.
I go into Publix, they're like, oh, you're so beautiful. You're wonderful. And they want to have these big conversations.
That's my van in the parking lot.
Right. And then all of a sudden I open my mouth and they're like, oh my gosh, she has a mind in there. Like, and
they do that with boobs too. When you buy big fake boobs, that's also how you're treated. At least you can put a hat on.
Yes.
I need two hats.
But then on the women's side, there's, I've had more judgmental from the, like, oh, I don't know who she thinks she is. Why has she got to do that? Why? What's with the pink hair?
You didn't ask for their permission.
No.
Or their forgiveness.
Hell no on the forgiveness.
And they don't like that.
No, be you, sweetie. You go be you and I'll go be me.
Do you feel sometimes almost like you're kind of androgynous or less feminine in a way because you're stronger and not competitive, because you're not so stereotypically female? Does that threaten your femininity in any way?
It doesn't threaten me personally, but I do think other people find it hard to understand who I am. I'm sure you felt that way as well.
Well, and I used to have short hair, so they all just thought I was a raging lesbian that was angry at all men. And I'm like, no, I just have complex thoughts, and I've taken a lot of pharma that made my hair fall out. So.
Okay.
But everybody sees what they want to see, what they need to see.
Right.
And, I read this thing this morning too. We're supposed to be talking about these bullshit stories, but we're getting off on this deep shit.
I want to know about this guy that stole $1,000 of stuff at Costco.
He switched some UPC codes.
That was it.
Story over.
And his name is Roberto Mendoza Carrera.
Oh, I like you rolling those R's.
That's the only thing I can do with Spanish.
It's very exciting. Very exciting.
I probably chopped his name because I always get names wrong. So that's why I could never make it really far in broadcast journalism, because I need it all.
You can't say names.
I need the script to like
Yeah.
actually phonetically put it out for me, because I chop up. That's why I go by Pinky. Just call me Pinky.
So I emceed. Oh, here's the guy. We should actually be talking about this story. So this guy, if he comes into your store and your stickers are not really sticky, you better watch him, because he's gonna try to switch them.
$1,000.
Did you ever do that? Like when you were a kid, did you go through a shoplifting phase at all?
No.
Oh, I did. Got arrested, back of a police
Just
car.
a regular Winona Ryder you were.
Oh, I was terrible. No, I was a little smartass. Like they wanted to let me go, and I was like, "No, I'm a badass punk." And they're like, "God, put her in the car."
Yeah, no.
She's gonna make us go through the whole thing. And of course, my dad was a lawyer, and he was super pissed that I was like an embarrassment to him and his profession, and just really in life in general. So I was gonna say some important, I don't know, gender-based shit, but we'll just wrap it up with these stories here.
I kind of digress.
No, that's all right. Nobody really wants to hear what we think anyway. Oh, I remember. So it was this, just quickly, and then we'll get to the lobsters, everyone.
Yeah, hold on to your seats.
Yeah,
the lobsters are coming.
The lobsters are coming, but not like on land with weapons.
No, more like a Kramer, I think, situation. You know, Cosmo Kramer in the lobster episode?
No, what I remember, but what was
he was stealing the lobsters from out in the waters, and then he brought them in, made a big lobster dinner.
I don't remember the episode, but I've been rewatching.
And then he gets arrested.
Seinfeld and Roseanne.
Okay, don't even get me started on old TV shows. You know, you want to talk Adam West? I can give you the background.
You know what's
Batman.
so scary is almost every mental picture that I have that I thought came from reading and experiencing life, I now realize is from a sitcom. Like if you say the word purse to me, I'm going to envision something that I've seen like in a sitcom. Every frame of reference that I have, because I had terrible parents that didn't pay any attention to us. And I guess I was kind of lazy as a kid. And so I just watched a lot of TV.
Well, you know, I'm the random TV freak. So I know all the random fun facts that you need to know. Like, for example, Gilligan's Island opening theme song, you know, 3 hours, that whole thing. If you look in the background, the flag is at half mast. Why is that? Because that's when JFK was assassinated.
Oh.
So that's when they were filming it, was when JFK had just been assassinated.
Okay, here's a Roseanne tidbit. Doesn't involve JFK though. I'm kind of already outdone. But so David, the Darlene's boyfriend, who is also the brother of the older sister's boyfriend.
Right.
So he's introduced on the first show as Kevin. So I'm at home and it's the weekend. I'm having a little smoke and I'm watching this show and I'm like, Kevin, is that right? And so I'm like, I have to go into IMDb and search it, because now I'm like, have I been calling him the wrong name this whole time? For 25 years, I thought it was David and it's Kevin. What? And so then I go through and I read that it was only Kevin on the first show. He was doing another sitcom where his character's name was also David. So once that got canceled, then by the second time he was on Roseanne, she just started calling him David. And like they didn't really explain it, but then later they said something about Darlene being really controlling, and about how she just called him David. That wasn't even his real name. So it was like kind of played off as a joke, right? But
inside joke.
It's so, but I love those little trivia tidbits like that.
Oh yeah, well, you know, on Seinfeld, George's father was played by a different actor, and then they went back and they redid the scenes with the new.
Oh, really? With Stiller?
Yeah.
He was so good. All right. So tell me about the lobsters real quick, and then we'll finish up with this story. So what happened with Kramer and the lobsters? He had like a lobster farm in his
they had gone away to like the Hamptons, and they were up there for vacation. And so he goes out, and being in his Kramer ways, he thinks he just found a whole bunch of lobsters
in the traps.
Yeah, in the traps. And so he brings them back, he makes them. And then, like, you know, all chaos breaks loose at dinner when they find out. They're like, oh, these are stolen lobsters. The police show up. And then there's a whole situation with George and shrinkage. And he gets back.
I do remember shrinkage.
Okay, the same episode.
Yeah.
Same episode with the lobsters. So, yeah. So he gets in trouble not realizing that he had stolen the lobsters. He thought they were just there for the taking.
So great segue. If you go to the Keys, you can actually dive for lobster and catch your own lobster. But there are rules. We have no idea what they are because I'm not that good at research. So, but make sure that you look up those rules before you go diving, because they will arrest you. They just arrested somebody, was it a city council person or Collier, or it wasn't Collier, Lee County commissioner, somebody was up there. Oh, I know, it was the retired Collier commissioner that got arrested last year for diving a day early. Made us all look bad. The Keys are still talking about it.
Couldn't wait the one day. He had to get ahead.
Day, because he wanted that extra big lobster. So there are rules about like what you can eat, but lobsters and shrimp, they're like the roaches of the sea. Do you like lobster?
No, I'm allergic.
You don't. Well, I knew you didn't like shrimp, but I didn't know it was going to kill you.
It's like a shellfish kind of.
So it's a whole allergy thing.
Yeah, I just stay away from it. I've made it 47 years without him. I think I'm
47 years today.
Today, 47 years free of lobster.
I don't think it's that delicious, and it's so expensive. And you see them in the little tank. It's like being at the Humane Society and then picking out a dog to eat.
Oh, would you do that in Publix if there was a bunch of chickens and you're like, I want that fat guy, ouch, in the back, like that?
Maybe that's delicious. That's really fresh. you do that, but you do it with a Thanksgiving turkey.
No, I don't. I don't go in and there's a turkey in Publix, and I'm like, I'll take that fat guy and chop his head off and let's go.
But you go to a farm and get a farm fresh turkey. You just don't name it.
I haven't done that, Shannon.
Although I did have a frozen turkey that was in the back of I had an SUV at the time, and we opened it up and to get the groceries out, and our Thanksgiving turkey like smacked on the pavement and rolled down, and Joe goes, I'm gonna call that turkey Gary Busey from now on. And that was the most terrible joke, but it makes me laugh every Thanksgiving. And I think that's a good place to end it. How about you?
Yeah, right on the bird. I'm giving you the bird.
We did not talk to Diana at all this episode, but
she's so happy about that.
She loves it. She loves that you were able to come in and take the heat off for her.
Yeah. I mean, and if you ever want to come back for random fun facts about TV trivia, I mean, Adam West, I'm up to date on him. Elizabeth Montgomery, Barbara Eden.
Maybe we'll send you a link from time to time, and you could just bless us with some trivia,
some random trivia from the best.
Yeah, you could just like do it at home with crazy hair. You don't even have to come in.
Yeah, and my favorite birthday trivia is that Estelle Getty. She's my birthday twin today, which is Sophia on Golden Girls. Yeah.
She was great. Now, how old was she when she was on that show? I know you know this.
Oh, she was the same age as the rest of the ladies. So they had made her older. So she was in her late 50s, early 60s when she was on the show.
Can you believe that those women were supposed to be in their 50s?
Insane when you look at it. Like why did we have to look at why the gray hair, the way like they wanted us to be perceived as old ladies, like at 50 years old. And now not one of us would be caught with it.
And they're like all desperate to be coupled up too. I find the older I get, the less tolerant I am of a relationship. Like men are still good. I still like them, but just the whole relationship thing, no, thank you.
Yeah. It's
done my time.
Yeah. And Estelle Getty actually had major stage fright. So on, I think it was like Wednesdays or whatever, when they would film the show in front of a live audience, she would really have major anxiety about getting up in front of the stage, and getting out there to do the entire performance. She had to they had to psych her up. They had to get her. Yeah. Like, isn't that interesting?
But why would you choose to do that? I mean, that's like if you're afraid of heights, don't be a window cleaner. I'm sorry, Estelle, you're dead, and that's disrespectful. And I loved you when you were not dead. But if you know that you have stage fright, don't be an actress for a living.
Maybe she was taking on that fear, though.
It's like the people that go into the ocean and go, "Oh, a shark tried to eat me." You're in the fucking ocean. Get out of the ocean.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. Like maybe her thoughts were she was going to be a movie star, because in the movies you're not really in front of a live studio audience. It's a little bit different when you're approached and like, oh, we're going to put you on this TV show.
And the reality hit, and they were like, "You're meant for TV.
Yeah, you're a great little lady. Let's put a wig on you."
But yeah. We're gonna ugly you up and put you on the small screen. How about that?
Like zingers and dirty jokes and innuendos. We'll be good.
I think I would have liked being on that set. I like it a lot more now than I did back then. I think I relate to it more.
Oh, my grandma stopped watching it because it was just too dirty for her.
Oh, yeah.
She said it was just
they were getting laid a lot more than I do. I mean, that's for sure. Not just like the four of them added up, but each one individually.
Oh, yeah. I think there's people that have actually gone through and like counted how many like lovers Blanche had and Dorothy. Yeah, you can go on the internet.
Oh my God, I don't even count my own. Who wants to know that number? I mean, don't we all just lie about it anyway? Why would you need to know the real number?
Some of them, like Blanche, was with a different guy sometimes too.
That is her right, my feminist friend.
She is allowed.
She can use that vagina and all those other female parts however she wants. She should be able to put a price on it too, but that's another show.
But just counting them would be entertaining, just to see. At the end of the
day. Lovers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do it right, maybe the first one will come back. I don't know. I think that's why I go through so many of them. All right. So happy birthday, Pinky. Thank you so much for coming in. This was a lot of fun. Diana, thank you for not being on the show at all, but still running everything and making us look so great. It's always a good time with you. And thank you for watching, everyone. 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond. Go back to your day. We'll see you again on Friday. I think Tim is gone again, so we'll see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah. And we close out the show with the fist bump here, which is very awkward because there's not a lot of rooms. So you have to do that with me now. Yeah. 239 Uncensored, and we are out. See how awkward this is?
It's like Wonder Twin power.
And